So this is a preface to the podcast we just recorded, podcast 51, because there's breaking news on Twilio. So Johnny, what's that breaking news?
Moez is back. He's back in town. 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 Moez Kazam is back. Moez, where you been? Hey, he just came out firing.
Yeah.
And he went after the Bessemer guy yesterday.
Yes.
Because, like I said in the email, the podcast that we're going to follow up on here, what happened over here? How do you guys take this thing to $80 billion?
Yeah.
And you come in and you all these shenanigans. So, Moez, you may want to pay attention to our podcast because there's a lot of things coming down.
Yes.
Actually, may want to sell and get out at the end. But Moez, come in. We'll work with you.
Yeah.
Got Tintech for you. Got a Tintech over here. I got other kinds of things for you. We can help stop spam, clean up the company. Twillions,
Yes.
This is a good thing.
Yeah.
Moez is back. Back in town.
Welcome to Truth in Telecoms. This is podcast 51. Johnny, how are you?
I'm feeling like $1 trillion.
That was a big number, but we'll come to that when we discuss.
I want to explain the number to you guys and everybody out there. Why? What does that mean? Well, first of all, UML, if it's 1,500 per text, right? Infraction is 500 to 1,500. T-Mobile 4,000, right? On sub-zero charges.
Yeah.
There's 78 billion spam texts. Just take 1 billion of those.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and chimes that by 1,500.
Yeah.
There's your $1 trillion, right?
Absolutely.
And I don't know if you know, Czar charges $2,100 for an hour.
An hour.
He charges almost as much as Robert Stebbins, who was general counsel for the SEC for Wilkie Favre, that cleaned up the cholera disaster.
Yes.
I mean, you're talking big money guys.
Oh yeah.
Big money lawyers. So, but I think I want to get into UMail because that was really exciting.
Yeah.
And what happened over there. But I want to really make a quick hit and kind of alert you to something. So,
yeah,
as everybody knows out there, Alan was sued. I was sued again. We were served at my house. Alan, my daughter, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
So, as we keep digging and asking people who framed Bill Peters, but there's a gentleman named Mark Romeo who is the attorney, he's an employment lawyer, kangaroo lawyer.
Yeah. But
a kangaroo lawyer who's very dangerous. And we keep talking about the frame job on Bill Peters, right?
Exactly.
So yesterday I had an interesting call and kind of unraveled how this went down. So basically there's 3 co-founders at the campaign registry. Well, 4 really.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk is also a co-founder, but they don't put him down there, I guess, because he's from a different part of the world. They don't the tech team in Taiwan. But he's also one of the original founders of InfoMatch, which became Cinch, right? So you had, Bill Sorenshaft, Tor, I don't even know what his last name is. He's the Norwegian guy, they call him, in their own press releases. So we keep going into that. So we have now Bill Peters going into court with arbitration with Mark Romeo.
Yeah.
He just sent you another 182-page document.
Yeah.
And the frame job was designed by him.
Oh.
Because the guys at the campaign registry, like I said, they just don't have the mental acuity to be able to pull something that off and do it right.
Yeah.
So more of those details are going to come out. But full stop, it was him. Now, because he put in documents after Bill came in and helped them, he put in documents about the laptop and the break-in, which is comical.
Yes.
Now,
exactly.
as everything's coming out through discovery. So that's the main culprit here on that part. But the really big culprit that we've unraveled here is when Cosima, the CEO of Twilio, decided to block me on LinkedIn because I made a comment regarding discounts.
Exactly. With
campaign
the TCR.
registry, right? So now what happened there? So let me explain to you how Twilio is the reason why the campaign registry, I believe, and I can pretty much lay out for you in a minute, doesn't work. And when they had to start complying, that's when the stock went down, right?
Okay, gotcha.
So what happened here was Calera was scrambling to try to sell their company. They went to Twilio. And after Twilio basically said, no, we're not buying Calera. Your company's a joke.
Yeah.
And then Calera tried to sell him just the campaign registry, right?
Yeah.
And they wanted an astronomical number for it.
Yeah.
And the guys at Twilio, who I was talking to, so I talked to him after the management and Bill Peters came to me. So this happened before I even entered the picture. They tried to sell the campaign registry to Twilio. They're like, you bought Zipwhip, you gave $750 million to Cineverse, you might as well take the whole thing, right? Which has really got triggered by listening to Lena Khan at the FTC, and we finally have somebody who I got a picture up of her now. If she walks the walk, which she's starting to walk, there's going to be a lot of problems. Antitrust is back on the table.
Yes.
So the campaign registry was designed originally, to track phone numbers.
Yes.
Like the short code registry does.
Exactly.
Which works, by the way.
Yep.
And track use cases. But what happened is Twilio made a huge prepayment, which we talk about the 80% discount. So backtracking, they made a huge prepayment, and they got, one of those COG deals where they prepay for something and they hide it in their COGs.
Yeah.
But the real reason for that is once that happened, there was no more tracking. There was nothing. Bill didn't find out until months later.
Yes.
Because he was trying to track and see how many customers the campaign registry was losing because of the discount to Twilio.
Exactly.
He didn't even know because he was in the original RFP from Verizon.
Yep.
And he was in the original deal when CTIA awarded iConnected. So once that happened, everything was lifted.
Yep.
And, everybody, we like to say, I believe it's the carrier's fault for putting this together, right? But they were in on it. Chris Wetherings, Kara, Susan, you were all in on it because you guys run the campaign registry, not the guys over there. Mm-hmm. You decide what content, what this, what that, what you want, what you don't want. This is a highly controlled situation, as Czar will tell you, his customers will tell you. You may talk about, his doctor that no longer wants to do it, or the guy from Red Oxygen that's now trying to, he doesn't know. He thinks it's a good thing. But what really happened here is everything got lifted. All bets were off.
Gotcha.
Bill was fired a month later.
Yeah.
Right? Because he was a whistleblower.
Yeah.
So I think the big news here, Twilio, is, look, I don't know what your relationship with Tintech, but there's some kind of deal there with Tintech, which I pretty much know what it is. But for a CEO of a company that's a multi-billion-dollar company to block me from hashtagging him, it really, really shows how feeble or afraid you are of certain things, because you ran the communications, Cosima. Now, look, I'm not sure if you made a deal or Lawson made the deal. He made every other deal. I kind of blame him for it.
Yeah.
But, I put out a post this morning about him being a middle manager at GE and being regulated to, Turkey.
Yeah.
And doing auditing over there.
Yeah.
Shareholders are mad, right? Yesterday, the longtime board member from Bessemer, Brian Dieter, says he's retiring.
Yes.
Why? Because it's hitting the fan.
Yeah. Okay.
Over
Gotcha.
there. Things are hitting the fan.
Yeah.
But Twilio is most of the market in the U.S.
Yep. Exactly.
Right now, the carriers are scrambling.
Yep.
So the whole thing was lifted. Plan wasn't followed through. Then they got rid of Bill. God knows what they're doing in there. Probably trying to scramble how to fix it, and probably try to deal with Net Number. Yeah. Net Number is now trying to buy it and squeeze them out. There's like knifing going on everywhere. Yeah. I've heard rumors that Tata's reached out to bankers, can't confirm that, to try to sell it. So it's a big nightmare. Yeah. And it's all coming to a head. And then you have the meetings next week. But look, what was that prepayment about, Twilio?
Yeah.
How did you book it? Right? Yeah. Then why did you keep putting in your earnings when they started forcing you to register?
Yes.
That you dropped your revenue, and then bang, you get rid of Jeff.
Yep.
Sales dropped. Twilio hits the bottom. So everything correlates here.
Yeah.
And this all came about and kind of tied together because they went and made a deal with Torsten. Torsten is what Nicola calls Torsten. So Nicola Wolfram, the CEO of Tintech, calls him Torsten. What is that deal? Yeah. And so you went to my backyard. which I don't talk to anybody over there. It's a well-known fact. But I am the largest debt holder over there. Nothing happens without me. And you can ask GMS, who's kind of hiding now too. And we're going to tell that story. But bottom line, it was Twilio.
Interesting.
This whole thing was organized because, look, they took over the 800 registry.
Yes,
right?
That's right.
From Zipwhip.
Yeah.
They were given that deal because they cut the carriers in.
Yep.
Then they paid $750 million for a minority stake in Cineverse.
Yep.
You're a publicly traded company worth tens of billions of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
And you pay a minority stake in a company after they had a failed SPAC deal.
Yeah.
And you go on TV, Jeff Lawson, and tell everybody, we like helping our friends. That was his excuse.
Yeah.
And the minute the guys at Legion understood that, and then Moez actually agreed, that was the reason.
Yes, he liked that.
That's
comment.
a funky deal. How do you buy him on? Where's the share? Where do you give into your shareholders for that?
Exactly.
And I heard Jeff Lawson was pretty upset at his party. So I got in contact recently with somebody who was there. He said he was pretty upset that he got pushed out. I also heard from people that Cosima pushed him out, and even pushed out the original guy, George Hugh. So there's a lot of things going back and forth. Yeah. And they talk about, the guy Brian, I was there from the beginning. You were there. You guys built the company to $80 billion. You didn't sell it. Yeah. I don't want to hear about pandemic, this, that, or anything else. It wasn't. You had an $80 billion market cap. You were the high flyer. Mm-hmm. You could have sold the company for 30, 40 billion. Now you can't even sell the company. Correct. These activist investors think they're going to sell the company. They're insane. Yeah. Because all these monopolies are going to play out. Yes. And look, we've offered the rest of the industry. The problem is everybody's so afraid of being pointed at themselves. We go back to UMail. Yep. Cease and desist on Cinch and Telequin. Cease and desist on Tata. Cease and desist on Peerless. Right. Just to name a few.
Oh, yeah. Based on that data. Away,
yeah. Right. Now everything's being cramped in. Right. So back to the $1 trillion database that UMail has. They are the most important company out there. Yeah. And they've delivered stuff to agencies on what the carriers are doing. Yes. The carriers are just for profit.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
At the end of the day. So
absolutely.
Look, Bill Peters framed.
Yep.
Right? Now, did the board go along with it? Absolutely. But who's going to roll? Yeah. Storing. Stefan, you guys going to roll like Chris Weatherings? Chris Weatherings, you're involved in all this too. You guys are all involved. Yeah. Who's going to roll on who? Yeah. What was the prepayment? Cinch, aren't you concerned about what discount they got? Infobit, don't you care? Ring Central, don't you care? None of you people care that they got a head start? Bird, I don't even know where you are, but you got to fly back in on this one. I saw you this morning screaming at the Juniper guy that the marketing research reports are for pay. He was calling us out.
Yeah, it's a broken category. We've covered that.
But you know what? He's the only guy that tells it like it is.
Yeah,
here's the guy that wears it on his sleeve. How do you not love the guy?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So everybody's hiding like little squirrels, and we'll get back into. So I want to just lay that out for you guys. Let it simmer.
Yeah, because this is exactly because this is the key.
It's going to start unraveling.
Payment that was made to give Twilio that 80% discount.
It was an 80% discount based on volume commitments, and they went over it, right?
Exactly.
The minute I went back to the board, and the people I was dealing with over there, and said, "Hey, you guys are giving these guys an 80% discount, and they have to pay full price." Like, what do you mean? Yeah, changed 3 days.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the campaign registry, they pretended it was separate. It's not separate. Yeah. And we didn't even put out the deck from GTC or the original deck. They had me on the NDA. So look, a lot of you people out there that I'm banging on to tell me who framed Bill Peters, I don't need it anymore. You're off the hook. And all your other partners at MEF, you're off the hook. But you do have a problem, which is called being blocked out of the biggest market on earth. Yeah. Or the best market on earth, which is the USA. All you guys should be screaming bloody murder on what happened over here. Still broken, all-time high tax. I mean, we can get back into the UMail conversation on why I think it's $1 trillion. We can segue into it. I mean, so we have our marching orders, and we're going to continue to bang this down. Mm-hmm. So now we got you, Romeo. We got you guys. How do you frame somebody like that for a laptop break-in?
Exactly.
And it's criminal. It's the worst crime for me personally. putting drugs in somebody's pocket or doing something.
It's the equivalent of, yeah.
And not just that, it's an American Air Force major who flew 10,000 sorties. Our attorney, his claim to fame is getting a rapist in the Army jailed for 50 years. He's taking on Jack Welch.
Yep.
Playing around.
And one, yeah.
Bill Peters, this is military.
Yeah.
A lot of you guys, whatever, in Europe don't understand what that means, but it means a lot
in
our country. So Twilio, you got a lot of problems. You got a board that's a mess. You've got now potentially your company, Cineverse, that might have to take the orders because they belong to the operators. The operators tell them, Cineverse, jump, come here, come. You do this. They block all unregistered. What do you do then? Right? Now, we were trying to fight for you guys the whole way. There should have been this should have never gotten to this point.
Yes.
But it's gotten to this point.
Yeah.
And it was all done for the money.
Yes.
Because they wanted Twilio in. Why? Because they wanted that penny.
Yeah.
Protect. They wanted the money. Right. Yeah. And then they had to force everything when the heat got down. Because the heat is not coming from us. The heat is coming from politicians, 51 attorney generals, hundreds of thousands of complaints for people that have lost $1,000 or less. Real people are getting hurt. So
correct.
You guys can go sell your stock like Cosima did today. Just comes in, sells 650,000 in stock.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. And he doesn't have to sell that. The CEO of Calera didn't sell his RSUs. He kept them. He just carried it forward.
Yeah.
Bill wouldn't sell any of his stock when he was a CFO.
Exactly.
Over there. It's just a bad situation.
Oh,
and it's a shame.
Yeah.
But you're all involved. And we're going to poke better. But just to do a quick segue back to you, Mel, and get on a positive here.
Yeah.
So that was an amazing.
Oh yeah,
amazing
it was
podcast.
Storming. Yeah, it was absolutely storming. It's the piece we're going to attach to the end of this, where Alex just simply explains what TCPA is about and his personal experiences with it as well. Because you were banging the drum, look, $1 trillion, all these TCPA lawyers and litigation financiers.
But he got hurt personally.
Yes, exactly.
They went after him personally.
Exactly, which pushed him away from
you guys up meth. You guys want to go piss off a TCPA defense lawyer?
Yeah.
Who every plaintiff lawyer hopes to get on his list. Every year? Yeah. You guys out of your mind? They could just pull things out of air and keep you in court for years.
Yeah.
It really, really nuts that you guys want to play that game.
Yeah.
And look, carriers didn't close the door. Twilio, you're in on it. Mark Romeo, you're the frame guy.
Interesting.
No question about it. But they're all involved. Doesn't matter because obviously he's an employment lawyer. That's what he does. He tries to disparage employees. So he set up this thing where they frame. But he had Dumber and Dumbest trying to do it, and they framed themselves. So he just didn't have guys that could pull it off.
Oh wow. Yep. No, that's shocking. I think one of the nice things, well, not nice things, but it's where you and Alex were agreeing on that podcast around we've got to such a bad situation where people fear answering the phone. It's the crappification of the PSTN across both calling and messaging. It's a terrible situation that we're in.
And then you got people like me. I'll answer anybody's call. I don't care if I see a spam number, I'm answering. Who could it be? So I'm in the sucker category at the end of the day. The people that are fearing, I'm like, I run to it. Who's that? Who could it be? It's a 123 number. I think I know somebody from there. But the one thing that we touched upon yesterday, and we got to get Noah back with his TNID. You got to reach out to him because he's ducking me too. Is basically, you have a kid, you have a daughter, you have somebody under 18, or an elderly person, or somebody with mental illness. You should be able to decide who can call you or not. There shouldn't be an app. There shouldn't be anything. There should be another number associated with your number, and you should be able to block anybody you want from calling your daughter, AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon.
Yes.
And that's really the bottom line here. Let's start there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me my daughter has to get text messages, but whoever's going to be, whatever goes on. This has to change.
Yeah.
And look, I believe there's going to be some serious stuff going down. But Twilio, what are you doing, guys?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Really. You know what I mean? You guys were all in on it. You're all framed Bill Peters.
Yep.
Oh, yes. They got rid of the guy that founded it, created it, the only smart guy in the box.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look at his history. Look at the other co-founders. Where were they before?
Yeah.
Where was Bill?
Yeah.
Bill was founding companies.
Yes.
Flying aircraft.
Well, as I've described, he's the father of SMS in the US. Full stop.
Yeah. Well, no question about it. I mean, it worldwide. I mean, the first interrupt company in the world. And he was he went through 5 CEOs through Sybase, SAP, and the whole. He's the only one that stayed. He's the only constant, right? And he's a finance guy.
Yep.
He's a brilliant finance guy, but also with an engineering mind.
Yeah.
So understands it. So, guys, I feel better. Things are going to loosen up now.
Yep.
UMail, look. Yeah. You want to talk about going public? Things what? $7 billion market cap. On what, a few $1 million in revenue.
I know, that's amazing. Yeah.
Right. So now UMail, I'm sure their revenues are 3, 4, 5 times that. Easily, right. Yeah. I'm sure they're very profitable. And what is the social? What is this true social work? They don't even make money. How do they even make money? It's a small one. The only hope for them is to try to sell it to a bigger company. But X would have sold it. Or X would have bought it already. Somebody would have bought it, right?
Yeah.
So how is it worth that much? So yeah, when you talk about UMail going public, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Even though, most of the money's going into the top 9 stocks out there. A lot of these small caps are, getting hurt, a lot of pump and dumps.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, the value of UMail is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the intrinsic value in there. The Boy Scouts that own it right now, because you guys are, and I'm saying that with all my love. You got 2 Boy Scouts running UMail. Can you imagine?
Yeah, but they are the most consequential company in the US.
But what I'm saying, anybody else, buys that thing, and
well, it's the insights, the data they have access to, that's carrier independent, that is being used by all the federal agencies. It's massive.
They absolutely look. We have some disagreements, and I'm not putting myself at my only thing is. The carriers need to solve this.
Yes.
He made one comment about the carriers have been trying to, run their networks for 140 years, but things change.
No. They spent
you're giving your phone as a computer.
IMS. They spent billions on IMS. They've got basically an infrastructure now at their core that can easily do this. You don't spend tens of billions on deploying IMS over a decade and not have those capabilities, unless you're the most incompetent sort of network operator out there. So I think, the time for excuses on this is over. It's fully capable within the infrastructure they have deployed.
And the lawyers I was talking about, Twilio, they wanted to sue you just because they knew you were the biggest spammer. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
No secret.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
They spend the money.
But you want to talk about a monopoly play. Look, the FTC may not go out to the operators. Why? Because it's critical infrastructure.
Yeah.
They may slap them on the wrist. Who knows what the FCC is going to do? Yeah. CTA come in here. Twilio, you're open season. Nobody's afraid of you.
That's true.
You'll just be like a dog that they'll beat down. And look, Twillions out there. You guys better get together and take control of your company. They're going to do a shareholder vote on 1 year or 3 years on directors. Board. That whole board's got to go. How does a board, forget the CEO, how does a board stay in place when you go from $80 billion market cap down to 8, 9, 10?
Yeah.
Right? How did they stay in place? Oh, we did a great job. What did you do? You didn't sell the company at the high. Yeah. You made a lot of money. You guys all made a lot of money. That's why you see them bailing. They're all bailing right now. But boards are important, and they make decisions.
Critical, yeah.
But who framed Bill Peters? Mark Romeo. Now, who are you going to roll on?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Jordan, who are you going to roll on? Chris Weatherings. You're still dealing with these guys. Right? You guys are all working together. You're all colluding. It is what it is.
Yep. It is. Cool. That's quite a revelation.
That revelation is just we've unraveled.
Yeah.
I challenge anybody to come at me. Sue me, please. Come at me. Yeah. So whatever you got to say, Mark Romeo. But I think there's some laws, around what you did over there.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think you have insurance on it or whatever it may be, maybe disbarment. I don't know. But
We will see.
But I'm sorry to overshadow my exciting UMail podcast. Man, guys, you got to watch the UMail podcast. You got to listen to the guy. And we're going to beg to get him back. And maybe we'll get Mike Rudolph. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that's
But
actually.
you got to. We got to get into this really what's right and protecting kids. Because the more I think about it, they shouldn't be just like anything else. My daughter has an iPad. I control what she can watch and not see, how she gets in, who can get in. It's the same thing with the phone.
Yes.
So what? You got a kid 12 years old, and you got spam texters getting to her, and what do they know? You guys got to stop it. So the only product I see is TNID for that. Obviously, Alex got another product that I'm going to download today and start playing with that and see what he does over there.
Absolutely.
But I'd love to see them and them get together and let's come together and solve the problem and not wait for the carriers to do it. Let's get the public behind it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's got to be solved. And on the robocalling thing, look, it's complicated, but it's not that much different. The only problem there is people are making too much money everywhere.
Yeah, with all the fixes that are again making the
fixes,
product
the
work.
Scam Likely, the this, the that. Yeah. The whole world knows Sir Shaken doesn't work. Yep. We're laughed at. And even the UK said, and they go along with everything we do usually. Yeah, it's like UK and USA, and they're like, nah, guys, we're out on this one. We're gonna bail.
Exactly. Yep.
So
cool.
UMail and big thing, Bird.
Yep. Oh, with the Juniper, yeah.
Too funny.
Oh, it's just another CPaaS matrix, and they're useless. They're absolutely useless.
I think we should give them. I think we should give them a Messi for that, or a testy.
Oh God!
What did band we call them? Texties.
Texties.
I said we're going to do the testies. But everybody out there, look, we're going to run a big event. Me and Alan are starting to organize it. It'll be a Truth and Telecoms, TAD Hack, TAD Summit type thing. It's going to be something different. It's going to be in New York. We're gonna put something together. We want some feedback from all you guys. We had your brilliant friend Dan Jenkins talking about his amazingly successful,
Broadcast Bridge and all the stuff he's been doing in WebRTC.
But even the events he puts on. So we're going to do something. We're going to do something when spring, summer.
It'll be summer into fall. Yeah, we're going
to do something summer. Look, we got a lot of subscribers out there. Give us some ideas. We want you in here, and we're just going to lay it on the floor because there's so much to cover. There's so much to do. And unless you call it out, you got to protect yourselves. Yeah. And then next week, we'll start getting into why we don't think AI is going to destroy jobs based on companies. Based on Strollin or Webio, what they're doing. Exactly. It's job enabling. Yes. It's not here yet. So let's the Jon Stewart
video,
Daily Show got everybody thinking it's the end of the world.
Yeah, well, they just took advantage. Klarna, that basically was just getting publicity for what they offer. It's again, if you use it right, you deliver a far better product using people and enabling even more people to be delivering value. I mean, with Strollin, they're expanding because of how they're using AI. It's a great example.
And one more thing, Tata Communications, Bill Peters notified you. You bought the farm.
Yeah.
Right? You bought the farm. You didn't listen to him. You didn't reach out to him. And the law firm that you hired literally recommended Bill to another company. So the law firm that saw Bill Peters' stuff and said, Tata, what do you want to do here? Let's throw money at him. Let's bury him. Yeah. That same law firm recommended him for another company.
Yeah.
Think about that. So, Tata, we don't want to beat you up. Maybe it's a couple of executives over there. I was calling out for Tata Group. Yeah. So FTC, anybody know anybody at the FTC? I mean, I'm looking to go and I'm like a groupie now for Lena Khan over there.
Yeah.
But Tulio, you got a problem. You guys all have a problem.
Yep.
Because now we're going to start poking there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
that's
hand over the goods.
That's a connection.
Hand them over.
Yeah.
What was that deal made? What's going on? What happened over there?
Yeah.
Everything happened. You lifted it.
Makes a lot of sense.
And it's the truth. It's the facts. So, and play the clip on UMail, and because it's important. And look, he could do a lot of things. He's got a lot of options.
Yeah. Well, it reminded me of Rob Wakeling with Wadaro. They've just built up a great business, and it's timing. They are just at a sweet spot.
But you can quantify this one.
Oh,
I mean, this is a
Email.
different animal. I mean, these guys have no idea what they're sitting on. They really, it's cute in a way. You know what I mean? Smart guys, tech guys, whatever.
Yep.
And, it's not something where you can look at the numbers and the value right there.
No.
What's underneath it? What can you pull out of there?
Exactly. Yes.
And it's not going to change for a while. It's going to be around.
Yep.
And nobody's knocking the TCPA got lawyers out of there. They got to make their money. That bar, the lobbying, forget it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? True. Every day, new rules. And they just create new rules, more of a cluster.
Yeah.
So, look, I think I like the way Alex comes across. Obviously, he's selling his company, but I don't think I think maybe he started to understand a little bit more how important he is from a different person's perspective or different people in the industry.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
as I said, the most consequential company.
It's a $1 trillion database that we can actually quantify.
Yes. Yep.
This is not like a dream. Because look at all the fines. Now, how much you're going to collect? I mean, but look, they sent the cease and desist to Cinch, Infobit, Tata.
Yes.
Why didn't they try to go after and collect the money? Right? Mm-hmm. But they're suing other people from like different countries and they collect like $5,000. So where is the enforcement?
Yeah.
Right? But a lot of these TCPA suits, I mean, they're all getting sued.
Yes.
Disney, this one, that one, Loan Depot. They nail people. They don't care if it's 50 text or 100 text.
Yeah.
It adds up. And there's constant settlements. And that's why a guy like Czar commands as much money as a big law heavy hitter.
Yes, exactly. It was impressive. But anyway, let's draw a line. I think that's a very consequential episode.
What is the TCPA? And why would you ever want to piss them off? You got to be completely out of your minds. Because like they went out to Alex. They could just pull something out of the sky.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a very personal story, and that influences his whole view of that category. Hence why he focused on his app.
He's a good guy. They're good guys.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Cool. Well, with that, thank you so much, Johnny.
Talk to you later. I want to go back to one thing, and I want the industry to know, and I want Wall Street to know. First of all, Alex, explain to the people what TCPA is.
So the Telephone Consumer Protection Act was basically a law to try to stop telemarketers at the time from spamming people's phones with calls without permission. That was the gist of TCPA. And what they did is they made it really easy to pull together class action lawsuits of groups of people who experience the same potentially unlawful behavior.
And how big is that industry? How big is it?
It's a huge industry in terms of lawyers both caught doing TCPA lawsuits when they believe there's evidence of bad behavior, and lawyers have to defend these companies who may or may not have gotten into a TCPA trap. Some are actually violating the law.
It's the richest plaintiff bar in the country, the TCPA bar, right? I mean, plaintiff lawyers, they go to parties fighting over how many jets they have.
Anytime you have a $1,500 fine for bad behavior and you've made millions of calls,
stop right there. Fine. A $1,500 fine. Where's all that information coming from? UMail. So what I'm saying, and I'm talking to you guys on Wall Street, what I'm saying is, like the Czar puts out that list of the top 10 plaintiff lawyers every year, right? That people fight to get on. Why wouldn't you just grab 10? I grab 10 of them and say, guys, look. Let's all pool our money together, buy their database, and it's over, right? Why not use it against the companies and let them police themselves? That can be done. Like you have an intrinsic value. So I'm going to put my finance businessman hat on, right? If I'm looking to go acquire something, I tried to acquire the campaign registry, right? Very easily to raise money, unique asset, monopoly, didn't know nothing. Took me 48 hours, right? Based on the numbers, the margins. Bang, done. If I were to raise money, if I were to go down to Wall Street and I was to go to some hedge funds, I'd say, hey guys, we're going to buy this asset. I wouldn't even go to them. I would go to litigation financiers. I'd go to plaintiff bars. I would get a consortium. I could just buy your database and just sue till I'm done. And every one of these companies out there, the old spammers, they wouldn't know what to do because a lot of these plaintiff lawyers, like I said, I know a plaintiff lawyer, a firm that literally went and spent $300,000 trying to find the information you have to sue a company just because they thought they were guilty. Right? Now, think about that. This is an experience I had recently. A company that they were listening to ourselves and saying, well, I don't want to name the big CPaaS company. Like, well, they're definitely spamming. I'm like, yeah, everybody knows they're spamming. And they went out and they invested money. And I'm like, why don't you just call Umail?
So a couple things, right? So we're well aware of the value of our data to potentially support going after, large scale class actions. And so a lot of people.
But not for you. It's for the lawyers that are going to put the money up and spend that money. You're not a law firm.
They've asked us, why don't you go do that? And so there's two reasons. So one is really personal. I got sued personally for TCPA violations that weren't. And that was because Umail at one point, and we still do, had a feature called an auto reply. Someone calls you, you could configure email to send a text to the caller saying, hey, can you email me instead or go to my website, whatever. We got 4 or maybe it was 5, I can't remember anymore, class action lawsuits naming me personally and suing us for everything we had, right? Because TCPA looks through the executives of a company.
Yeah.
And so that was a really tough situation. It cost a ton of money to defend ourselves. Ultimately, the FCC did their declaratory judgment saying, no, of course, this is not a TCPA violation 2.5 years later. And that made me realize this is an extremely dangerous law if you didn't violate it and somehow someone's going to make through some sort of path claim you did.